This is my first interview in English, and I'm thrilled to welcome Charlotte to our podcast. I first met her at WOMEX in Manchester while exploring the various stands. I stopped by the Finland booth to ask for tape and sisters to hang my posters, only to find they were hosting an aperitif at that very moment. It was 10 a.m., and Finland was already generously offering gin and tonics to everyone. A short walk later, with a roll of tape in one hand and gin and tonic in the other, I came across the Norway booth, and what a delightful word. I'm not sure if it was the gin talking, but I could swear I heard birds singing. That's where I met Charlotte, who greeted me with a warm smile and handed me a promotional flyer for her band. I asked her, "What kind of music do you play?" She replied, "We create music using sounds from the forest." That's how she introduced me to one of the most unique, sustainable concepts the music world has ever seen.
Hi, Lotta. Hello, hi.
Oh, hi.
How are you?
Yes, good. So
Good?
sorry, I'm a few minutes late putting up
No,
the
don't worry,
system.
no problem. So what about this project? How did you start with this project?
Yes, 2 years ago, I got this idea that I would like to make a project together uh, as a collaboration with other folk musicians from Finland that have been internationally known, or they have careers, long careers behind them. And myself, I am a musician in a band called Kasvu. So we make music about biodiversity and the will to protect all this Finnish nature. But I wanted to involve all the other folk musicians in Finland as well, um, since they have their own audiences and they also perform elsewhere, to make this album together. And I asked these people that I know not so well, but they I was very surprised when they all said that of course I want to join this project. I didn't really know if this is something that they want to do together. They have never been collaborating together, but this time they said that yes, definitely I want to be part of this. It sounds very good, and I want to give my voice for this purpose. And then I asked each of the artists to make one song for this album about biodiversity, and they all did it in their own way. So all the songs are really, really different, and the styles are varying very much. Of course, also Finnish folk music is quite diverse, so there's a lot of different time layers and also more pop style things and then more traditional things. So you can do things in many ways, but you can all hear it in this album, all of these styles. So I'm really, really happy that all these artists wanted to join, and we made a history together.
I know that you record sounds from the forest, the Finnish forest, right?
Well, actually, I think maybe this refers to our band. We're making soundscapes, but we do it with our own instruments. So we want trying to imitate all the
Oh,
sounds that we
wow.
hear. Yeah, that is kind of the style, and
So,
it's yeah, and it's often very very magical moments when you have a gig and you just play tunes, but then suddenly you just start to make some kind of soundscape, and nobody really knows where did that come from, that sound. We have been collaborating with Norwegian artists,
okay.
and we have recorded one song together,
Mm-hmm.
um, which is speaking about plants that live in by the lake. So that kind of approach we've had to Norwegian nature.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, all in all, we Nordic nature. It's kind of the roof, and
Okay.
we made one music video that was recorded by a Finnish lake, and it was a really rainy day. It was
Oh,
awful, and we had to make the music video that day because that was the only possible day, and it was already becoming dark, and we were a bit in a hurry, and started to rain. But then we decided to make it anyway, and when we went under a bruise, and then we were hoping that the cellist won't just like lose his cello completely because it was really starting to rain. Business meeting, and then suddenly we just realized that we are in the middle of the forest. And then I had to lie down in the mud, even though I had this rented suit. But somebody found a little mat, so I was just able to hop on it. And so the suit was a little bit safe, but it was challenging. I mean, to do this kind of stuff in the middle of the nature. But we were supposed to do that, so that's good.
And how can music contribute to raising awareness about this kind of issues? What do you think about it?
Well, for me, music has started to become slowly a tool of being an activist almost. So because I think music has a possibility of touching our hearts and minds, and music can do miracles. I believe in it. So it can arise questions and feelings and make us hear what is true actually. What is the truth? And it can guide us. It can give us strength to protect what we love. It can also give us comfort when we really need it. And hopefully it can also inspire us to act. And that's why I'm making music right now. Every ninth species is endangered in Finland, and ecosystems are in problems. And somebody has to say these things aloud. So we use often as a lyrics, we use poems. So it's like contemporary poetry. And I think it's a very powerful thing. And and also, there is also a thing that I think there is another thing that you need to do besides art, and that's just trying to join movements, trying to find like-minded people, join your forces, and like I have done, and I have found that many movements are using music as a tool also. So there are many, like Extinction Rebellion, There's No Music on Dead Planet. Then there's a lot of musical projects like ecocide, choirs for ecocide law, that kind of project that is bringing a lot of singers together to sing about problems and then the will to solve those and the urgent need to act. And actually I'm in the middle of making arrangements for choirs to sing in demonstrations. So it's like that's a very big part of my life right now, has become slowly.
Yeah, I think it's very important what you said. And I don't know if you want to share something about your music, or if you want to recommend a song.
Yeah, we have our album will be launched on 7th day of February. So you can hear all the songs there. Also, my band Kasvu, we have made a song about lichen. So that's the moss that is in the forest.
Yeah.
I mean, I just learned that the moss it's like it has been created 200 years before dinosaurs. That was something really like to think about. Okay, wow. So, and there are 900 different species of that in Finland, and every third of them is endangered. So we made a song about lichen. So I can also recommend that one. It's called sammal in Finnish. It's the lichen. It's the plant that is living in what's called a moss that lives in the forest. It's the green soft thing where you can lie on the burial. That is like growing on rocks.